Hey everybody, it's Jean. I'm making Valentines today, and I'm going to make 8 Valentines using index cards, and I'm going to put them together and make one big background first and then make my cards individually. Normally I start making each one from scratch, but this is a kind of a new way to work for me. And it's because I was watching this video from someone named Ceri, C-A-R-I, and he put all of his together with leaving a little gap in between each card so that when you cut them apart, you don't accidentally cut into one or the other, leaving a wavy side or a wavy top. So anyway, I thought that made a lot of sense, and I thought it looked fun to do. I sat there and watched his whole video. He did it all in real time. His whole video was just putting this together and putting his together with his papers. And of course, his papers were much larger. He was doing something completely different. But I received all these papers from Rhonda at B-Ball Wife, and it was very much a surprise to get this nice package with all kinds of goodies to play with, hearts and stickers and papers and even pipe cleaners and all kinds of things, little puff balls, things, all kinds of things to use to play with for my February books. And so I decided to use some of them making Valentines. And so the first thing I did is I took all the papers and I just tore them apart and made them small enough so that each individual card of Valentines will have several pieces from each of the cards. So I made them very tiny, and of course then it made it pretty time consuming to play with here. So anyway, this was a fun activity. It took a couple days actually to do this. I think I even put the background on in 2 different days, just because normally I like to glue everything. I use my glue stick for everything. But just pressing on that glue stick is hard on my arm because I still have a problem with my shoulder. So brushing it on with paint was actually, or with glue, brushing these on with glue was actually, here's my new stack. I've got a new stack of papers. Anyway, brushing it on with glue was much easier for me, and I could last a little longer at my art table. So that was fun. I think all the papers looked really nice together. It all came as one set, so they were all somewhat coordinated with their colors and so forth. When I tore them up, I did leave some of the sides with the white edges, because I think when you're putting together that many patterns, you kind of need to have a little dividing space. And I probably should have used a little more of the plain paper, but I used the envelope that one of the cards came in, and that was a plain envelope, and then just built around it. But looking back on it now, it might have been a good idea to have an extra grouping of plain papers. Just to kind of help keep the pattern from being so overwhelming. And it was overwhelming when I look at it just by itself. But, of course, you put things on top of it, so it does disappear into the background. And it was busy enough that I didn't really feel like I wanted to put a lot of other things on top. I didn't want to layer a lot on top, because I was layering Valentine ephemera on top. So So I pretty much, this is just background and just fun, and I had a good time with it. I put my camera on upside down, so I'm working from the opposite side of the table, and then when I started working the next day, on the other side of the paper, I turned the paper around, but I put the camera on there correctly, and so you'll see me working from the other side of the table, which is how I normally do it. So anyway, so this was a lot of fun, and I did appreciate getting this wonderful happy mail with all this fun Valentine stuff, and now I have some to send out. So this is I had a bunch of things I was going to tell you while I was doing this, and I'm just kind of I started out with a pretty clear table, and I put the post office. I put that package underneath it because I thought that it probably wouldn't stick very well to the glue, and I had to keep pulling it up so that because of the little tiny gaps, I had to keep pulling it up and making sure it wasn't sticking underneath. But that's why I used the post office packaging underneath that. I know that's not what it's for, and I don't mean to be wasteful, and I will probably paint over it and send it out. But still showing that it's the right kind of envelope. So anyway, going on. What have I been doing other than making Valentines? Well, I've been doing a lot of shopping at the bins. I had another trip that was a lot of fun, and I didn't buy too much because I'm trying to be very, very careful, but I did find a lot of things for different members of the family, and I found, what was it that was so fun? I was really, really excited. Oh, I got a lot of those candles from Yankee Candle, and the little tea light tarts, and the smaller candles. There was just a whole bunch of them, brand new, in there. And my daughter burns those all the time. She loves them, and so I had plenty to share, and that was kind of fun. And so everything else is fairly ordinary. I did buy a couple things for myself just to keep, which was a big no-no, but nevertheless, because I need to get rid of some things, but I haven't gotten tired of the things I have yet enough to get id of them. So it is kind of a dilemma. It's just a dilemma for that. And there was something else I was going to tell you what I was doing. Oh, I wasn't doing. I still have my Christmas decorations up. Is anybody with me? Fortunately, I didn't decorate big for Christmas this year. Last year, I went all out. This year, I was kind of on my own. I had the shoulder issue. I didn't want to drag my tree out of the closet. So I went very, very simple. But so simple that I haven't hardly noticed that I haven't taken down any of my Christmas stuff. And it's almost Valentine's Day. So that makes me laugh. But anyway, we're getting down to the end here. And this was pretty much just cleaning up any stray glue, making sure everything is down really, really tight. And then I cut them apart, and here's one. I'm just going to do one for you on camera. And this one I'm going to make as an antique one. Now I made, I think, 4 antique ones and 4 contemporary ones. So this one was an antique one. I still got my my messy desk. But by this time, this wasn't the first one I made. This was the last one I made. And so my desk had gotten so crowded, I am down to a very tiny area to work in because it's just too overwhelming to clean it all up, especially when you still have one more to make. So I just put... I made sure I antiqued it really well. I made sure the sides were inked up. I used some lace and some paper doily and some, did I say lace? Yes. In fact, actually, I think there's 3 pieces on there, and one of them you couldn't even see. No, there wasn't. This is the one that just had the 2. And those little tiny flowers, I did, you can hardly see it, and I tried to even get a close-up of it, but it really didn't show up very well. But those little tiny pink roses, I antiqued one of those roses and put that right at the top of where the lace meets the round medallion part of that doily. And it was just the right touch to kind of blend all those pieces together. But yeah, I was trying to put that together, and when I glued down the little piece of doily, and I did find that key right at the last minute too, so that was kind of fun to put on there. So anyway, when I used my glue stick for this on part of it, and when I put down that little piece of doily there, I squished it kind of together at the bottom to make it more round. And like I say, I cut out a lot of this. Then I put some, that was a doily I've been cutting apart, bit by bit by bit. And a nice little line of glue. I like to use, if I'm putting down lace and things, I always like to use my tacky glue. My tacky glue, I live and die by my tacky glue and my glue sticks. Then I hardly use any other one, although I do have that glitter glue that everybody uses. But I find that every time it just dries up, and it's so hard to get it going again that I don't hardly use it very much. But I did buy one, and it's very expensive. But it works nice. It works really nice. But I like the tacky glue and my glue stick. That's the Avery glue stick, which I'm using. Now, the tacky glue too, also, if I'm doing something metal, you definitely have to glue it down. And then I put my rock on top of it. I use this rock for everything. But I put the rock down on top of it. It looks like it's not doing well, but it does. It does. It puts that weight on there. Now, you saw that it went really fast, but it actually sat on that overnight. Anyway, I came back, and I used my glue stick for part of it, but when it wouldn't stick very well to the doily, so you'll see that's why I peeled it back in a little bit here and used the tacky glue, because I wanted to make sure. I bought these Valentines. I bought old Valentines. I think I bought them on eBay, and I got 8 vintage Valentines, and they are just so cute. I just love them. But of course, for these particular pieces, because I only used part of it to decorate with, I went ahead and copied them on my copier and put them on. But anyway, we're already here. This is one of the Valentines, and this is another. These are the vintage ones. And I'm trying to make sure I show you, but these are all copied, which I can use because I'm not selling them. And so I copied. Yeah, I love they're my favorite of the vintage ones. But I was kind of surprised at how well I liked the contemporary ones. Oh, this is my last vintage one. This is the one you saw me make. And the backs are all plain. I didn't do anything to the backs. Now that's what it looked like when I was done and I first cut it all out. And I just rounded the edges. This is my first Valentine that I made on the contemporary. And I used the pipe cleaner, the little sparkly pipe cleaner that was in my little packet. And this one, Happy Valentine's Day. And that was stickers that I had. This one here is, I used the Ceri silk, and I think I have a lace at the bottom. And it says Hooty Hoot Valentine. So that was fun. I had fun making them. I used my pasta pens. Now I had one paper at the end, so I made just a couple of tags, which are kind of fun. So anyway, so that was my my fun time, and thanks for watching. And don't forget to share and subscribe. Bye bye.